Right, busy day today. Thought I'd just do a quick content clip, I think is what these things are called. So got to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. So started off this morning at 4:45, getting ready to go to the gym. Hour and a half in the gym, and then across straight onto campus. First thing I'm doing this morning, I'm currently in the sports lab. I have a participant for a research project that I'm busy working on, kind of as a side project. That participant's due in at 8:30, and we'll take some measurements and readings. This particular project is looking at the effect of antioxidants on exercising in non-trained female individuals between the ages of 18 and 40. So an interesting project. One of the interesting attributes of this project is that we're also looking at where our participants are in their menstrual cycle at the point that we have our intervention, and this is fairly unique because it seems to be one of those things that many studies seem to not account for, not take into account, and there is an absence of information, if you like, on how the phases of the menstrual cycle potentially affect females when it comes to participating in resistance activity um, and physical exercise, or physical activity. So we'll look at that as part of this research project. When I finished here, it'll be shooting across to the biochem lab, and in the biochem lab, I will be continuing with my PhD project, which is my primary research. And today, I'll be just growing up some more yeast and preparing them for our intervention. Okay, so now it is 3:10 in the afternoon today. Still in the biochem lab. What have we done? I've made a whole lot of broth for my yeast, and I had to reconfigure a incubator to hold big 5-liter flasks that I'm going to be using, and made up some reagents and buffers. So that's all been done, along with a bit of a cleanup of old reagents and buffers that I had lying around from some previous experiments that probably just needed to be safely discarded. So where are we at now stage wise? I've now got all my broths made up and ready to go, and I've taken a colony of cells, a colony of VCI yeast cells, picked up a single colony, and I have stirred them into 15 mils of broth, and they are now sitting in the incubator. They're going to be there for 2 hours. So I put them in at 2 o'clock. So from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, they're in there. Just busy growing. At 4 o'clock, I will take those out, and I will do a cell concentration count to see how many yeast cells per mole I have in that solution. And then I will be inoculating equal amounts of yeast cells across different sample sizes, etc. I won't go into all the details now. I'll be doing that at 4 o'clock and taking some pH readings to get my baseline data. And then all of those will be getting back into the incubator, and that's where they'll be sitting overnight. I have to then write up all my notes, etc. And then it's all been timed so that tomorrow I can check where the yeast are in their fermentation phase. So previous iterations of this process tells me that the yeast tend to ferment or go through an exponential growth phase somewhere between hours 17 in the broth and 24 before they go through their oxic shift and move from fermentation to respiration, which is part of what we'll be looking at. And so this is time that I'll hit hour 17 at about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then I'll be taking readings every hour on the hour from hour 17 to hour 24, just to confirm the point at which the yeast go through that toxic shift. So we look to see through the reading that we're taking, we can see if the yeast have moved from their fermentation phase to their respiration phase. Okay, so it's now 6:10 in the evening. I'm going to keep this one short because I'm properly knackered. Got everything done, and got to take all my zero readings. So the yeast is now all in the incubator, and I've taken all my readings, all my data at 0, which is baseline. And tomorrow morning, it's a bit of repeat. So tomorrow morning, it is 8 o'clock again in the sports lab to work with the sports participant on my side study, for want of a better word. And then back into this lab where with this yeast, I'll now be taking data every hour on the hour from 9:30 to 4:30, which will take me hopefully through the fermentation phase of the yeast. So we should see the yeast grow exponentially over those 4 hours, and then the growth should slow down after the last hour, which is after the 24-hour, which would indicate that we're going through the dark six shift, which is what I'm looking for. So hopefully that's what we'll see. So yeah, so that's 10 past 6. That's me for the day. That's just a typical day in the life, if you want. I'll post this once I've clipped it all together. Cheers.